Welcome back, 8th graders. Oh man, I am so incredibly excited to have you here today. All right, let's just dive right into this explainer because what we're going to cover today, it is literally your ultimate playbook for conquering those difficult reading assignments. You know what I'm talking about. Those massive walls of text that just make your eyes glaze over. Yeah, we are going to take those and turn them into clear, easy to understand pictures. We're talking about visualizing complex texts. So, question for you. Have you ever read the exact same super dense paragraph like 3 times in a row, got to the very end, and realized you still completely blanked on what it actually meant? Yeah, for sure. You know that feeling. It's that totally frustrating brain crash moment. You're staring down your science textbook or maybe a really detailed history passage, and the words just kind of start floating off the page. The information feels totally overwhelming, and your brain just stalls out. I want to validate that right now. It happens to all of us. But today, we fix it. And believe it or not, the solution here isn't some brand new modern invention. Actually, it's a timeless biblical principle straight from Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. I absolutely love this. Making complex ideas visual and plain is a profound ancient truth. When you make the vision plain, when you draw it out clearly, the person reading it can take that information and run with it. And guess what? That person is going to be you. All right, section 1, beating brain overload. Here's the deal. Complex texts totally overwhelm your working memory. Your working memory is kind of like the RAM in a computer. It can only juggle so many details at once before things start crashing. When you're reading intense scientific explanations or historical narratives with dozens of players or essays with layered claims, your working memory just gets maxed out. But here's the game changer. Visualization reduces that load. A visual diagram or a mental image acts like a secure hard drive. It locks those details securely onto the page, so your mind is suddenly freed up to actually think, reason, and understand what's going on. Moving right along to section 2, make the vision plain. Think about the professionals out there. Architects sketch blueprints, scientists build complex models, coaches draw plays on a whiteboard for their team. None of them just stare at a massive wall of text to figure out a complex problem, right? No, they map it out. This isn't just some neat little reading trick. It is a powerful thinking tool. And you can do the exact same thing with the ideas on a page in your textbook. You are the coach, and that text, that's your game plan. So let's get into section 3, choose your visual playbook. Okay, we're building a simple mapping system here. It works like this. If the text is a sequence of events, you instantly know you need a timeline. Are you comparing and contrasting? Boom, you pull out a T-chart. Tracing causes and effects, that absolutely demands a flowchart. And if you're reading an argument or laying out claims, you use a claim evidence map. It's that simple. The structure of the text tells you exactly which tool to pull from your playbook. So here is your 4-step game plan for mastering this skill. Step 1, identify the text's structure. Step 2, match it to the right visual from our playbook. Step 3, fill that visual with only the essentials. And step 4, teach it back. Honestly, that last step is the ultimate test. If you can use your visual to teach the idea back to a friend in plain, everyday words, you have successfully transformed complexity into true understanding. You've nailed it. Let's look at some game tape in section 4, real-world examples. First up, science. Let's say you read a text that says, greenhouse gases trap heat, which raises temperatures, which alters weather patterns. Well, that's a clear chain of events, so we use a cause and effect flowchart. Notice how this is charted out. Gases point directly to heat, which points straight to weather shifts. Do you see how those arrows clarify the direction and consequence perfectly? It makes a really complex scientific chain incredibly easy to recall. Now, let's switch gears over to history. Imagine reading about 2 leaders with very different policies. A timeline isn't going to help you understand their differences, but a T-chart absolutely will. You put leader A on one side, leader B on the other, and maybe add a middle column for similarities. Suddenly, sorting their traits exposes the contrasts and shared goals right in front of your eyes. It sets you up perfectly for deep historical analysis instead of just trying to memorize random disconnected facts. And what about English or essay writing? When a text has a central claim with several supports, we use a claim evidence map, which is also known as the hub and spoke. Your main central claim goes right in the middle. That's the hub. Then the evidence extends outward like spokes on a bicycle wheel, with brief notes on each spoke. This structure is amazing because it makes the strength of an argument totally visible at a single glance. You can literally see exactly how well the author proved their point. All right, section 5, putting it into practice. But listen, before you draw your very first chart, I need you to burn this rule into your memory. Clarity beats completeness. Only keep the essentials. I'm going to repeat that. Do not copy the entire paragraph into your visual boxes. That totally defeats the entire purpose. All you need are names, key terms, and arrows. If a detail doesn't directly serve the main idea, leave it out entirely. Keep it plain, keep it clean. So here is your homework challenge to prove your new mastery. I've got 5 action items for you. 1. Choose a complex paragraph and create an appropriate visual. 2. Write a 5-sentence explanation using your visual as a guide. 3. Take a messy class diagram and simplify it, explaining why your version is clearer. 4. The ultimate challenge. Turn a 2-page article into a single page of visuals with short captions. And 5. Present and defend your visual to a partner, answering 2 questions about it. I know you can absolutely crush this challenge. Finally, section 6, wisdom, truth, and life. You know, we don't just learn to read better for the sake of getting good grades. Wisdom grows when we seek truth with humility. These tools we just learned, predicting, visualizing, monitoring, they actually help us listen carefully to others. They help us change course when the evidence demands it, and clarify what is genuinely good and true. We use these habits to understand others' words fairly, to build knowledge that serves our community, and to communicate with honest grace. Consider this amazing scripture from Romans 8:6-7. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. This powerfully emphasizes that keeping our minds centered on spiritual truth is the ultimate goal of all our learning. Academic skills are great, absolutely, but spiritual mindedness, that brings life and peace. And this brings us right to the core philosophy of what we do here. HeroesMart Academy intertwines biblical morality with education. Because frankly, education without morality can actually hurt. Think about it. Knowledge and intelligence should help you make wise, God-honoring choices, rather than simply making you more capable of doing whatever you want. As we just saw in Romans 8, keeping the mind spiritually minded leads to life and peace. We want you to pursue amazing academic excellence, yes, for sure, but we want you to do it while keeping your mind entirely centered on God, truth, wisdom, and making righteous choices. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. How will you use your newly sharpened intelligence to make wise, God-honoring choices this week? You now have the tools to make complex things plain. So take that clarity, seek the truth, and run with it. Go crush your reading assignments, and I'll see you in the next explainer.